Today, we are going to go over everything Tesla and Elon are doing right now to help the Ukraine situation, and hopefully you will see or begin to see what type of person Elon really is. So the title of this article is Tesla will pay Ukrainian employees for up to 3 months if they are conscripted to fight. I will go through some of the key points. There's also an email sent from Tesla to all of their European regions detailing exactly what they're doing. I'm just going to highlight some key parts and give you my thoughts. Ukrainian Tesla employees who are asked to return to defend their country will receive pay for at least 3 months, according to an email the company sent on Monday to employees in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. It wasn't clear from the email whether this benefit would extend to employees in North America and elsewhere. After 3 months, Tesla plans to reassess the Russia-Ukraine war and their employees' situation to decide what more will be needed. This is because Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has called up reservists to fight all the way back in February, preceding the anticipated invasion. So what this means is if you are of Ukrainian descent, you could be working right now in Europe or even in America, but because you are a Ukrainian national and your country's being invaded, you might feel like there's a duty to go back and fight, or it could just be something you want to do. There's even a lot of non-Ukrainians joining the fight because they view it as a fight against authoritarianism and tyranny. Back to the article. In the Monday email sent on the 12th day after Russia invaded Ukraine, Tesla employees were also praised for helping SpaceX, the aerospace venture also led by Tesla CEO Elon Musk, to bring its Starlink satellite internet service to Ukraine. So Starlink is a huge deal. It's a satellite dish that helps you get internet in places that previously you could not get internet, because in the old world before satellites, we have to run wires or there needs to be cellular service. But with Starlink, there are actual dishes in space, and they can just beam that internet. That's probably not technically what's happening, but you get the drift. They can just give you internet in a lot of hard to reach places. And this is a perfect example of how space exploration, space technology can help us very, very tangibly in the real world. And a lot of things we use every single day are because or were created by NASA or on our quest to go to space. In the process, we develop all these different things: laser eye surgery, GPS tracking, Tempur-Pedic mattress. Things you wouldn't think of and things you cannot live without now are due to our drive, our ambition to go to space. So it really baffles my mind, or it's really frustrating when I hear people laugh at Elon and say that it's such a waste of money. Why don't you just help us here on Earth right now? People can't even comprehend that what you think would help us right now isn't necessarily what we need in the future. And there are all these things that have yet to be created that are going to be created due to SpaceX and his ambition. Back to the article. Among other things, Tesla's energy team assembled and provided lithium-ion battery energy storage systems known as Tesla Powerwalls to run Starlink equipment in Ukraine. He definitely didn't create Powerwalls to assist in a war or for it to power satellites, because their energy grid system has been completely destroyed. But this is the power of having a private company be in charge of these things instead of a government. It's a lot easier for him to help. If you're the CEO and you want to help, you can go help. You don't need to, go through Congress or go through all this black tape. Tesla employees used inverters and charging cables that were donated by Tesla's certified installers to assemble the Starlink and Powerwall systems. Although Tesla does not operate in Ukraine, the company said in the email that about 5,000 Tesla owners in the country and other EV drivers could obtain free vehicle charging at some of its supercharger stations in Poland, Hungary, and Slovakia. Yeah, again, another great benefit when you're in charge of things. And clearly Elon wants to help. I mean, this is good publicity, but he's done plenty of things that are bad publicity too. And this doesn't cost him nothing. This is definitely cost him something. And where are all the other billionaire companies that are helping this much? I don't really see any. And I think the reality is that Elon, he does what he wants. And in this case, he wants to defend Ukraine because he believes in freedom and sovereignty. He clearly thinks what Russia's doing is wrong. So he wants to help Ukraine. On the flip side, sometimes what he believes in makes people very, very upset, like when he said Tesla stock is too high. There's nothing holding him back. The same voices that are supporting his Starlink services in Ukraine also wanted him to censor some Russian voices through the use of his technology. And I think a lot of people would probably also support that But he said no because he believes in free speech above everything. And that, again, it's not about being popular. People think he just wants to be well liked. No, he has a hierarchy, and above that is just honesty and being true to himself. And yes, he jokes a lot, but again, that's part of his character. That's just who he is. It's just like hanging out with your buddy that you've been close to. He's gonna say what he wants. He's not always gonna be PG. In this case, people agree with them, but just know in the future that he's going to do stuff that people disagree with. And I'd rather have a CEO do this and be able to be this impactful while occasionally make mistakes versus somebody that is just so covered by a PR team, never saying anything without making sure that it offends nobody. And I would say a lot of the other billionaires fall into this camp. They're a lot more likable on paper, or they're just kind of bland, but they'd rather just protect their wealth, protect their image, than take such big of a risk. Because if you think about it, getting involved in a war, that's a big risk. Do you really want to anger Russia this much when it's still such a big country? It's still a potential very big customer base, and there's just a lot of opposing forces. There's a lot of uncertainty, and to be this open about it, it just means that he really believes in it and he doesn't care about the pushback. Now let's just read the full email, and this is sent by Alex Tangent, who's the director of their Northern Europe region, on behalf of the company's HR director for the EMEA region. This was transcribed by CNBC. This is to Europe from Axel. Hi team, sharing this message from Joe Ward and Mariam Khalifa. As you know, Tesla is committed to doing the right thing. Whilst the situation in Ukraine is evolving, we wanted to share with you what actions are being taken to support those impacted by the conflict. Many folks have reached to understand how they can contribute, which is awesome. It's important we show them how we as a company are helping, what resources we have in place, and how they can also proactively support themselves. Big thanks to all the teams that have contributed to these efforts so far. True Tesla spirit on display. As a priority, HR EMEA team members have been connecting with employees impacted, as well as their managers, to ensure we check in. We will continue to ensure we provide meaningful and targeted support for our employees. For any Tesla employees who is a Ukrainian national and has been asked to return to Ukraine for active duty as a reservist, we will maintain their employment and salary for 3 months with a view to assessing after this period as needed. So this isn't even if you're being forced. I mean, they don't have the power to do that, but it's just people volunteering to go back to defend their country, and they're willing to cover it. It's a really strong sign of support. The email says, Tesla has opened free supercharging at stations bordering Ukraine to support those impacted by the recent invasion. Within hours of implementation, Tesla emailed local owners announcing that several supercharger stations near Ukraine could be used by Tesla and non-Tesla electric vehicles free of charge. Tesla teamed up with SpaceX to provide coverage expansion for its Starlink service to help provide an alternative internet infrastructure. Volunteers across Giga Berlin and Germany service team responded quickly on Sunday to test, configure, pack, and ship several hundred Starlink units, which have already been gratefully received by Ukraine's digital transformation minister. In true Tesla fashion, the solution has been put together in 3 days. And yeah, this is in true Tesla fashion. They are fast, they are relentless, they make mistakes. Rockets are constantly exploding. They get stuff done. 3 days, I mean, that's incredible. Can you imagine the government getting anything done in just 3 days? And what I think is also cool is that it's Giga Berlin and the German service team helping to pack Starlink units. Hey, these are actually two separate companies. Why are they working together? It's because they are all run by Elon. And again, another benefit of having one businessman auteur, the support they can give each other. Both of these like huge, incredibly innovative companies. It's just amazing to see. Back to the email. On top of this, the energy team supplemented the Starlink rollout with a fleet of Powerwalls. And all of this is assembled by a team of 40 volunteers from across the EMEA organization, committed to doing what they can to support. In addition, we have reinforced Tesla EMEA Employee Assistance Program. The program offers counseling and numerous resources and support for employees. And now, officially, lastly, employees can, of course, support by making cash donations to reputable relief organizations responding in Ukraine. This is not an exhaustive list, and you can, of course, make donations to an organization of your choice. And they've listed, a couple of the major ones. And if you have any further thoughts or ideas with regard to how we can be supporting our employees and those impacted by the crisis, please do not hesitate to connect with us. And finally, this is like a call to action to give us more ideas. And Elon also has been notoriously open to having open lines of communication from any type of employee. If you have a good idea, it has to be good. If it's not good, he's probably going to chew you out or just ignore you. But if you have a good idea, he wants to hear it. He's not attached to the traditional roles of like he's here and you're here. He's an engineer at heart. His whole company is run by engineers and programmers, and his whole company is run very flatly as you can, where good ideas will come to the top. That's it. It's not about who's been there longer. It's not about who has the most experience. It's about, do you have a good idea? Can you execute? Let's just fix this. Let's just do it right. You know, you can read Facebook comments, or there's tons of them saying like, oh, I always hated Elon, but I guess he's doing a good thing now. This Elon that's doing good things, you can't get this Elon without the things you dislike. He's making a decision. He's taking a stand. And when you take a stand on something you believe in, you are going to have haters. So you can't just ignore all the bad parts and say, I just want this section of him, because the good parts of him wouldn't exist without the things you perceive are negative. And yeah, that's it. You know, my thoughts are with Ukraine, and I hope you all are doing well.